I have to have the best job in the world, because not only do I get to hang around with really cool kids, I have connections with really cool kids in other places. Recently, I learned of a project being done by the iTech Preparatory Middle School in Vancouver, Washington. They went to the local Fort Vancouver Museum and asked if they could scan in or capture some of the historical items that Fort Vancouver Museum had that weren't on display. They wanted to create a virtual museum to be able to show those items that aren't currently on display to people anywhere in the world.
My artifact is a dessert plate. The dessert plate is from Fort Vancouver in the 1800s.
So I contacted the teacher that came up with the project and said, you know what, we have a powder printer. We have a printer that can print in full color. And we have students that would love to print for your students the objects that you have captured and make them real replicas of the items that you have captured. Here in Northern Virginia, we work with the PHILLIPS Schools, teaching 3D design and printing to students on the autism spectrum. They love it and they're great at it. We knew they would be perfect for this project. 3 PHILLIPS students came to our lab where we trained them to turn the virtual artifacts from Vancouver into full-color 3D printed reproductions. Let me tell you about that workflow. First, you have to prepare the printer. That is, you have to make sure that all of the powder is cleaned out and it's aligned. Then you have to enter the item into software. Now, we didn't enter just one item. We entered multiple items. So you have to move those items around so that all of those items can be printed at the same time. The next thing you have to do is print. Printing involves just printing in layers. There's nothing to do while it's printing. But after it comes out, you have to be extremely careful as you remove the parts. These parts are very fragile when they first come out of the printer. And part of the workflow is making sure that you can take them out without breaking them. Then you move it to another area where the powder is blown off and it's being prepared for coating with something like crazy glue. And then we packed up the items, we sent it off for the students at the Vancouver iTech Preparatory Middle School. When they got them, they opened them and we got pictures back. This is a learning experience for them as well as for our students. Some of the plates were not flat. They seemed to have these bumps, always in white areas. The reason that some of these plates have these raised areas is that the clone software is really just photographic images and it tries to stitch them together. And there were reflections here, 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 and here. And it saw those reflections not as just simple reflections, but as a shape. This enables them to go back and refine their scanning techniques because they're going to do this again. And when they do it again, we're going to do it again because we really love this project and we think it's something that every school in the country could do. If you've enjoyed this video and support the work that we're doing with at-risk kids, please consider donating to us.